This dude's body is so massive that just one step literally makes the earth shake. Stick with me, guys, because this is wild. When young Hein walked, it felt like the apocalypse. Everyone was shook, and get this, he already weighs a few tons. So naturally, this big guy dreamed of becoming the absolute martial arts goat. But a single mosquito landing on his neck, boom, he staggers. When this absolute unit falls, you hear it from across the entire country. Bro, is he the one causing earthquakes over in Japan? His body might be totally useless right now, but he knew someone was coming to absolutely destroy all of Murim. That ungrateful servant is crazy strong and unified the whole martial world. Hein's parents even died in the insane chaos he caused. Because of that, our super weak main character was taken in by 6 masters from the main sects. They put him through hellish training where living felt way worse than death, piercing him, freezing him, even burning him alive. It fortified his body, all part of his master's master plan to make him ridiculously overpowered. Now watch closely, here's the twist. He time travels to save the world but wakes up inside Hyen's totally useless, martial arts incapable, heavy body. Cut to present day. He was getting checked out by Dr. Jang Sung. While stressing over how to stomp that ungrateful villain who causes total chaos, he realizes step 1. He absolutely has to snatch up the virgin ginseng before that guy does. His doctors and caretakers kept bickering about his health, making it impossible to focus. Then it clicked. The servant grabs that virgin ginseng in exactly 6 months. Bro had to make moves immediately. He straight up told his dad he was going for a walk. Dad panicked and ordered the biggest chair possible, carried by the absolute strongest guys around. But our boy said no way, he wanted to walk on his own. Even so, his dad instantly called the guards for backup. It literally brought tears to the old man's eyes. Dude hadn't walked solo since he was 10 years old. For the next month, he grinded hard, walking laps around the courtyard. But his ton-heavy body wasn't dropping a single ounce. He hopped on the scale to check. Even a whole herd of pigs piling on the other side couldn't outweigh Hein. The pig side's rope straight up snapped, while Hyen was racking his brain trying to remember the chaotic servant's name. His loyal vassal tried to hype him up, saying weight loss doesn't just happen overnight. He had to lock in on his diet, cut the sugar, pump up the protein, and hit the gym to build some muscle. The young master's health was going to take forever to fix, but Hyen literally didn't care. He only wanted that ungrateful servant's name. Looks like Reincarnation totally wiped his memories of the guy, but whatever. You and I know what's up. The villain hits Anhui province for that virgin ginseng, perfect time to strike. Picturing himself crushing that guy with his absolute overpowered strength had him laughing like a maniac. He figured beating him meant an easy, quiet life. Yeah, right. His vassal totally thought the rapid diet made him lose his mind. Freaking out over the sudden crazy laughing, he sprinted off to fetch the doctor. He dragged old Jang back at top speed. Jang Su-young, the guy who took the emperor's physician exam at 30. He aced a crazy gauntlet of exams to score his medical title back in the day. By 50, he achieved enlightenment and created a custom medical technique. This was Hyen's golden ticket to an athletic, aesthetic body. Hyen asked if he could whip up some fast-acting weight loss potions immediately. The super-hyped doc said absolutely, but when Hyen asked to do it in 6 months, nah, it would take 3 years of hardcore cardio. Hein completely slapped a mosquito off the doc's neck, calling him a total scammer. But the doc pulled a wild idea out of his hat. If walking on land was too tough, try walking underwater. Eventually, they hit a local stream. The dudes who carried him were absolutely gassed out. Hein slowly waded into the water, figuring some aquatic cardio would be super chill. It was supposed to ease his joints, But suddenly, whoops, he slipped right into the deep end. You'd think his huge belly would make him float, but nope, bro sank like a literal submarine. His vassal just stood there, thinking he was happily swimming. Little did that clueless vassal know, our boy was a submarine running on zero oxygen. The guy thought Hyun had Olympic swimmer potential. That is, until another guard pointed out the riverbed's massive drop-off, meaning their master was going down fast. So what do you and I make of this? His vassal finally realizes our guy is literally drowning. He panicked and sprinted over to save him. But look, an average guy couldn't drag Han's massive body ashore. Stick with me, because our boy's strength was fading fast. Traumatic memories from when this body was just 2 years old suddenly flooded his mind. He had survived some absolute horrors. His own mother died protecting him. Right then, a girl dragged him onto the riverbank, totally saving his life. A huge lifesaver. Thank goodness. Anyway, they finally made it back home, but the loyal vassal was currently facing the absolute wrath of Han's dad. But after discovering this whole mess was the doctor's fault. The doc, who nearly got sent to the afterlife by Han's raging father, frantically explained that the kid got rejected and desperately wanted to lose weight. Then he brought up this super effective underwater weight loss training method. But Hyun's sister, the baddie who sent her maid to save him, chimed in saying he totally didn't need to risk his life in that deep waterfall. Cut to Hyun's room, where our guy finally woke up to his gorgeous older sister. He couldn't even believe this stunning girl was related to him. Like, he was built like a tank, but his sister was straight up top-tier gorgeous. Then his sister's personal maid stepped up and offered some help. Hyun figured there was zero chance she could lift him, but she picked him up effortlessly like it was absolute child's play. By the next morning, they dragged him to his new training spot. Strangely enough, all the servants were in an awesome mood. Super weird seeing people so hyped to haul a guy built like a mammoth. Turns out, the squad was building him his own massive custom pool. Now pay attention. This was totally his sister's genius idea so he wouldn't risk drowning again. Hyun found the whole vibe a bit strange, but seeing the finished pool, he was hyped. The staff literally cheered and smiled as he waddled his way over. They busted their butts over something completely ridiculous. Like, how was this even fun for them? He then asked his guard about his adoptive dad. In the vassal's eyes, that beefed-up old dude was the peak of nobility. So he claimed the patriarch was this legendary senior disciple that everybody respected, pure honesty and virtue. But to Hyun, his dad was just an old creep, though the vassal swore that during famines, he literally opened the vaults to feed and clothe the whole town. And that is exactly why the entire town idolized the guy. Our boy realized he had been dead weight since day one. But hey, being the boss's son meant free food and a chill, totally easy life without doing anything. He burst out laughing, leaving everyone completely baffled. Next day, pool ready to go, he cannonballed in and sent massive waves flying. Then he ordered his guard to strap a giant stone boulder to his leg for training. The guard didn't question it. Once strapped tight, the dude yeeted that giant rock with all his strength, literally launching our guy straight up into the sky. You saw that too, right? This pool looked shallow, but he dropped like the Titanic straight to the bottom. Down there, he kicked off his internal energy practice, using a method perfectly designed for underwater grinding. His old masters actually cooked up this wild move, called the spiritual energy heart cultivation technique. Instead of storing chi in the core, it used the heart, skipping the energy veins for normal blood vessels, and boom, he finally got it working. Raw energy rippled through the water, letting him actually feel the currents and take control. Then he dropped Shaolin's ultimate attack, the mystic fist of 100 feet, punching the water so hard the entire pool turned into absolute chaotic madness. After that epic flex, he trained underwater like a total maniac, using his past life hacks to level up. 1 month later, he completely mastered it. All right, time to head back up. But first, our guy needed to see exactly how much weight he actually dropped. So he told his guard to fetch the scale. If this underwater grind didn't burn fat, how could he ever face his old master again? The verdict: his massive weight actually dropped a tiny bit. Hey, at least the ropes didn't snap this time. He burst out laughing, totally thrilled. His vassal straight up admitted his doubts. Now, our boy had to get strong fast to stop that one chaotic traitor. So he devoured absolutely everything in sight, cultivating the energy before the food even digested. Just grinding, day in and day out. 2 months fly by. Down at the bottom of his pool, he unleashes a palm strike so fierce it makes the entire surface violently churn. His guard was shook. He literally blurted out, "How could that arrogant pig pull off a move like that?" "Bad timing, bro." A voice right behind him asked who he was calling a pig. It was the patriarch, and he was seeing red. Dad was ready to execute the guy right there, but his personal guard quickly ordered the soldiers to drag the loudmouth away immediately. Not for punishment, though, just to force him to take a vacation after dealing with the young master. The guard wept pure tears of joy. Our MC's dad was absolutely stoked that his son sent water flying with a martial arts palm strike. The kid actually had raw talent. He'd support this combat grind. Then his face got dead serious. And that is where we leave it. Trust me, it only gets crazier. Stick with me here, this gets wild. After messaging the palace, his dad just casually hands him the literal divine manual of heaven. Hyun's face got super serious. The emperor himself gifted this manual. That alone proved his dad had some crazy heavy influence. His dad mentioned he recently bragged to the big boss that Hyun finally started training. So the emperor personally picked the absolute best manual for him. But Hyun had no clue how hard his dad begged. The old man was literally spamming the emperor with letters, crying about being forgotten. Total guilt trip to get a yes. Honestly, he sounded like a jealous ex throwing a total tantrum. On top of that, his brother-in-law became his new coach. Meet Dam Chun-woo, his sister's husband. This dude loved bragging that his dojo was the most famous in the entire province. Compared to Hyun's actual skills, the guy was a total joke, but Hyun had to keep that hidden. So he just bit the bullet, kneeled down, and accepted his brother-in-law as his new master. Their dad almost bawled his eyes out seeing his boy so respectful. Truth is, our heavy dude Hyun literally couldn't stand back up without help. For the next few days, he trained under him, and it honestly felt like absolute torture. Chun-woo kept roasting him, even calling him a literal killer whale. Hyun snapped, directly challenging his master to prove he wasn't playing around. Chun-woo totally thought it was a joke and just busted out laughing. Super obnoxious, but here is where you and I gotta pay attention. Hyun taunted him, so he instantly accepted, sealing his own energy to keep it fair. Dude still thought he was too overpowered, so he literally tied his own arms together before starting. Hyun unleashed his combat technique. It was quick and powerful, even though his heavy build still slowed him down. His brother-in-law was absolutely shook. How the heck was Hyun blending fighting styles like a total pro? Hyun knew his stamina was garbage, so he rushed in fast. Boom, down goes the brother-in-law. The guy begged for mercy, but Hyun knocked him out cold anyway. Later, he was so busted up he couldn't even scratch himself, asking his wife, Hyun's sister, to scratch his head. She didn't care at all, super hyped that Hyun was winning. She always knew he was a martial arts genius. Homegirl could barely hide her massive smile. Later, Hyun took a walk downtown. Everyone was so insanely happy. Kids playing, shops booming. It made him flash back to when corpses filled those streets. Back then, everyday life was just pure terror and starvation. That chaos servant ruined everything and stole their peace. But today, people rushed over just to fanboy over Hyun. They were mind-blown seeing the young master actually walking. Soon, they started tossing him gifts and tons of food. Bro just wanted a simple walk, but the locals kept feeding him until he felt like a literal bowling ball. They were too sweet to turn down. Honestly, all this wholesome energy just made him way more hyped to save the world. These good people didn't deserve to die. Suddenly, he spotted some sketchy martial artist stalking him. The guy was shocked. You and I both know what happens next. Hyun instantly teleported right behind him to talk. Freaking out, the dude launched a full power strike and sent Hyun completely flying. This guy was definitely no random scrub. The crazy hit knocked Hyun out cold, letting the attacker dip. Waking up, Hyun was absolutely fuming, ready to murder the guy. Bystanders rushed over checking on him. He totally played it cool, even though that punch hurt like absolute hell. That reality check just made him grind harder. Meanwhile, his dad and sister were having a chat. Pops wanted to hook him up with an arranged marriage to make him a star general, but Big Sis thought it was way too early. They figured his massive glow-up started when his engagement to the Namgung family's daughter got called off. She was a total boss who just wanted to train, not get married. Still, his dad wanted to shoot his shot and propose again. The Namgung guys were actually right next door, literally sweating over how to politely reject the dude. Meanwhile, Hyun hit up the beggars district hunting for the legendary virgin ginseng. He searched forever but found absolutely zero clues. A local tipped him off that beggars vanished 20 years ago. Apparently, the boss built them all free houses. Talk about a plot twist. Hyun desperately needed the tea on that state treasure, but now he had zero clue where the beggar network went. Over at the provincial office, the Namgung lord was totally snooping into Hyun's background check because of that crazy marriage proposal. Turns out, Hyun was secretly a top-tier adopted son. No deals about him could drop without the central beggar office's green light. They ranked him at the elite celestial tier just for being the patriarch's kid. Knowing these guys loved money, Namgung just slammed down a massive stack of coins, flexing that he'd pay literally whatever it takes. Still not enough. Then he pulls out the emperor's seal. Trust me, you and I are gonna want to see what happens next. Alright guys, stick with me here. This ring gives Namgung family protection, basically worth more than money itself. Right then, Hyun rolls up to the beggar's headquarters, but honestly, the place looks way too bougie for beggars. One guard straight up calls him fat and tells him to bounce because VIPs are inside. Hyun completely ignores the hater, claiming he's the patriarch's son. The guard's response: a straight punch to the face. The disrespect is real and Hyun is absolutely livid. Time for some payback, with a punch of his own. Meanwhile, Namgung hands over the ring, finally getting Hyun's intel. He's just about to read it when a brawl breaks out outside. Hyun is throwing hands, making the guard regret underestimating the big guy. Like, how is a dude that heavy moving so fast? Hyun flexes that he's using the infinite sky sword, but against this guard's low-tier moves, total overkill. He just wants an apology to drop it. Instead, the dude gets even more salty after Hyun roasts the Namgung clan. The second the guard draws his blade, Hyun instantly drops him in one smooth move. Cue the loud screaming. Hyun literally yanks him back up, ready to teach him some respect. He starts slapping the guy silly until someone from above yells to stop. That guy's superhero lands right between them. Hyun takes a step back, but this newcomer isn't letting him slide. Hyun's radar goes off. This guy uses a brutal martial art. He has to strike first. Now watch this closely, a direct clash against that style. Super risky. This brutal style spams explosive rotation power. Hyun tries a reverse spin to cancel it, but then freezes. Wait, that's his old master. Yep, the sword master from his past life. Hyun knows his moves perfectly, but still gets absolutely wrecked. The man realizes this big boy is built different when Hyun totally disperses his explosive lightning mystic fist. Hyun tries to stand, eyes locked on him with pure killing intent. The man steps up, but Hyun's squad immediately rushes his defense. And then Hyun passes out cold again. Only then does the beggar division chief burst outside, realizing the knocked-out kid is literally the patriarch's adopted son. He runs over screaming, "Who dares touch the chief's son?" Suddenly, everyone is glaring daggers at young Namgung, who's sweating bullets. He looks at his dad and instantly connects the dots. He shreds Hyun's file. It's totally useless now, and he knows his dad is gonna lose it. Being Hyun's future brother-in-law basically saved him. The beggar division chief hits his knees begging for forgiveness, making this whole mess crazier. Then the beggar tells Namgung to kneel and apologize too. Even the emperor respects the man in front of them. Hearing that, Namgung freaks out and drops down begging for mercy. But Hyun's dad is still seething. Whoever hurt his golden boy is paying with their life. Then Hyun struts out. Looking totally ridiculous, by the way. His sister forced that wild haircut to make him handsome. The beggar division chief is mind blown seeing Hyun walking around fine after tanking a hit from Namgung's son. Hyun walks straight to the Namgung family head to say what's up, then tells Namgung's son he's his uncle, despite being 17. You and I both know Hyun's been waiting for this, because this dude was his past life master. So he slaps him silly. Yeah, it hurts his hand, but Hyun does not care. One day, this guy becomes the legendary Sword King. For now, though, Hyun gets petty revenge by pinching his cheeks and making him say uncle. Honestly, he's just hyped to see him again. He's literally crying, partly from joy and partly from that sweet revenge. Why are you bullying me? After that drama, everyone sits down. Namgung is still sweating how to dodge the marriage contract, but Hyun casually cancels it himself. He claims he's super busy training to save the world, so tying the knot right now is a no-go. He points out this engagement was forced by some dusty old promise anyway. Marriage can totally wait. Hearing that flex, his dad is left speechless. Hyun goes off about a martial world packed with shady bandits, thieves, and corrupt mercs. He's totally throwing shade at Namgung and the beggars. They just sit there quiet. Since nobody argues, Hyun declares the marriage issue officially dead and buried. Next, he calls out the beggar chief. They need to have a little chat. He still needs the scoop on that virgin ginseng, plus updates on the current Murim state and masters from his bloodline. It's payback time for all the dirty things they did. He is totally gonna make them suffer the exact same pain from his last life. Oh, they are gonna pay up. A savage look fills his eyes, disciple time. And that's where we leave it, guys. Catch you in the next one. Alright, stick with me here. Hyun barely cared until his sister and her maid showed up, nagging him to finally rest up. Meanwhile, his guard spotted the wooden-faced maid beside her and fell head over heels. To him, an absolute walking dream. Knowing he was heading into the Murim world, his sister dropped a heavy question. Did he forget their mother's fate? She died over Murim drama. Hyun just looked right at her. Did she seriously think he was still some weak, unreliable kid? That totally stunned her. He swore on his life the clan would never suffer like that again, not on his watch. Hearing those words, his sister just smiled. Her little brother was finally growing up. She gently rubbed our chubby main character's head, teasing that he'd grown a lot, mostly sideways. Seriously, why was she acting so sweet? The whole thing felt weird, but honestly, maybe this is just how a real family is supposed to act. Fast forward through some hardcore training. Suddenly, the pool water started boiling over and boom, someone blasted right out. He yelled out that the time was finally here. His guard rushed over in a panic. Was Hyun actually getting a glow-up? Bro turned into a super saggy, skinny dude. Just look at him. Big yikes. Winter rolled around and we cut back to the palace. His old man literally told him to stay inside. Looking that skinny, a strong gust of wind might actually blow him away. But Hyun had to bounce to train the Namgung clan's heir. So he got up, faked a trip to Anhui, and packed his bags. He was hyped for some real freedom and totally planned to just sneak out quietly. Yeah, right. He had no clue they prepped a massive luxury carriage for him, complete with over 20 royal guards. Everyone outside was ready to roll, but to him, just annoying dead weight. So he hatched a plan. He invited the crew inside for drinks and delayed the trip. His sister actually came by for a proper goodbye. But hearing him goofing off with a bunch of totally hammered guards, yeah, she decided to just wait outside. Inside, Hyun didn't just get them drunk. He spiked the drinks with a wild drug that scattered their internal energy. Good night till morning. An emergency paralysis poisoned straight from his doctor. He was literally sneaking out the door when his sister suddenly pulled up. She gave him a massive hug, told him to stay safe, chill out, and just come back home whenever things got too scary. Family always has his back. Then, he straight up swiped the emperor's absolute best horse from the stables and hit the road. Next day, he hits a small village. But because he looks so sketchy, the locals stare at him like some random chicken thief. So he fakes his identity, posing as a U-clan officer on a top-secret mission for his master's kid. He started asking around. Did anyone spot a weird, red glowing stone up on the mountain? The locals were totally clueless, until one old guy chimed in. He saw that exact light at sunset up on the peaks. Like a glowing laser beam reflecting the evening sun. Hyun instantly demanded the exact location, Pagoda Mountain, but the old man warned him to stay far away from there. Now pay attention, this is where it gets crazy. It belonged to the Nine Dragons clan, literal savages. That just proved Hyun hit the jackpot. He practically begged the old-timer to be his tour guide up the mountain. The dude was terrified. But after Hyun busted out the ultimate puppy dog eyes, he caved and they marched right into the woods. Getting close to enemy territory, Hyun refused to risk the guy's life. Got the final directions, promised him a massive reward and sent him back. Right at sunset, boom, the red light flashing, the legendary virgin ginseng. Hyun sprinted across the stream, figuring an underwater fight would totally be to his advantage if he got caught. Finally, he reached the bandit stronghold. Trying to stay low-key, he flared his spiritual energy out like a radar to pinpoint that glowing ginseng. But instead, he finds a bandit beating up a woman, and when her little kid starts crying, the psycho targets the girl. Hyun hesitated for 1 second, then he snapped. In a literal blur, that bandit hit the dirt completely dead. You and I both know a real hero can't ignore that, right? Seeing the family, he decided to wipe these guys out. More guards rushed out, but our saggy hero quietly put every single one to sleep. After dragging them inside, he found a bunch of kidnapped villagers. Zero chance he's leaving them behind. The only issue, they were absolutely freaking out and super loud. So he puts the brave mom in charge and speedruns a crazy escape plan for them. A random guard walks right in looking for his squad, sees them knocked out cold, and immediately blames the tied-up prisoners. He opened his mouth to scream, but our guy delivered a brutal neck chop. Lights out for him too. Time for the real show. First up, the main guard post. The saggy dude dashed across the yard, slipping right under the massive tower. Holding a torch in one hand, he loaded up an absolutely devastating strike in the other. So what do you and I take from this? Never mess with him. He slammed the post, toppling the whole tower and the guard. Let's jump into this one, guys. Nobody saw that coming, but that was the signal to run. Right then, a blurry figure zooms past holding a torch. It's our loose-skinned guy, rushing to set a cabin on fire. His plan for tonight: pure, unadulterated chaos. Meanwhile, a bunch of bandits are knocked out asleep nearby. They wake up to a crazy bright glow. Cabins are already blazing, and Hyunsung stands right in the doorway, flexing that he started the fires. He torches that cabin too, then keeps sprinting. He's lighting up buildings left and right, totally dodging any long fights. Before long, a squad of bandits spots him. Running is the smart play here, but another dude cuts off his escape. Hyunsung smoothly ducks the attack and knocks the guy out cold instantly. Our loose-skinned bro is unstoppable, slicing through the village like absolute lightning tonight. Over at the gate, two guards get distracted by a tossed stone. One guard bends down to grab it, then catches a massive flash right behind him. That's when the idiot finally realizes the place he is guarding is literally burning down. Both guards panic and run, letting everyone hiding by the gate sprint toward freedom. The girl's mom just prays their badass savior makes it out alive, then sprints with everything she has to get out of there. Our loose-skinned lord keeps sprinting through the camp, baiting everyone's attention, but his gas tank is definitely starting to hit empty. Watch closely here. He suddenly notices a guy right beside him, ready to strike. This attacker is crazy fast, and Hyunsung literally has zero time to dodge. Boom, the hit smashes into our guy, launching him meters away. The rock-solid boss demands to know who this intruder is. But when our loose-skinned lord stays completely silent, more goons surround him, totally roasting his bandages and asking if he's ugly under there. Guards pour in, and that last hit did some nasty damage. The boss tells his crew to put out the fires, actually trying to recruit our loose-skinned hero instead. Hyunsung just sits down, totally stalling to get his spiritual energy back. He stays put, catching his breath. Because finding fast, strong guys to join up as bandits is super tough. But as the boss yaps, he gets suspicious of Hyunsung's weird vibe. Is this dude seriously meditating right now? And yeah, soon enough, Hyunsung gets his juice back. His spiritual energy turns absolutely terrifying, asking why a literal wolf would ever serve a tiny puppy. That completely triggers the boss, who immediately orders his squad to charge in and crush him alive. One massive hit knocks his mask clean off, exposing the face under all that loose skin, and the brawl just keeps going. Hyunsung is insanely fast, and while these bandits aren't crazy strong, their team combos are surprisingly solid. By spamming attacks together, they actually reach our loose-skinned lord and slam him down. Even a lion goes down if enough hyenas jump it. Realizing he is totally out of options, Hyunsung completely switches up his fighting style. You and I know he's not done. His movements get wildly unpredictable, using the immortal step of the 8 drunks to dodge the guards. Even the boss is totally shocked. Then Hyunsung shifts gears again, pulling out the epic shadowless flight technique. He shoots straight at the boss like lightning. They trade crazy hits in a split second, but Hyunsung's power just isn't enough. The boss totally tanks that. With his energy fully drained, his only way out is jumping straight off the cliff. Falling down, he admits he still isn't strong enough to solo them, but he swears he'll return to take their heads, vanishing over the edge while throwing up his middle finger. That leaves the rock absolutely raging, glaring down beneath his eye patch. He orders his goons to go grab the loose-skinned lord's body from the bottom. But then a minion runs up with some terrible news. The hostages are totally gone. That makes the bald boss even more furious, and now he wants our boy extremely dead. Meanwhile, as Hyunsung drops off the cliff, he goes straight into a head-first dive. His only goal is to hit the water soft, spinning downward like an absolute drill. His biggest fear, smashing into the bottom with all the crazy momentum from this massive drop. He actually manages to slow down, but then something starts dragging him way deeper, and once again, he sinks like a total rock. The current drags him along for ages until he finally gets washed into a hidden cave. He just wants to chill after that insane fight, but the energy in his heart suddenly spikes, reacting to something close by. It pulls him forward, and soon he realizes exactly what it is: the legendary virgin ginseng. Swimming deeper into the cave, Hyunsung is completely stunned. Right there in front of him, the virgin ginseng is glowing with an insane aura. He gets so hyped he almost cries, but then remembers that beggar saying it would be super easy to find. If he sees that dude again, he might literally toast him for lying. Wasting zero time, he rushes over and yanks the ginseng out barehanded. So what do you and I think? That's the legendary virgin ginseng, and now it's all his. Stick with me, you're about to watch our boy get insanely overpowered. He looks around, thinks it's a prank, then happily gobbles that heavy, soaked ginseng right down. Instantly, his spiritual energy blasts through the roof. It feels so amazing, he just keeps scarfing it down. He drops down to cultivate, totally hyped to finally crush everyone who ever treated him like hot garbage. Meanwhile, back in the village, his poor vassal is desperately hunting for him. But since Hyunsung used a fake name, the guy's coming up totally empty. Why is he out here? Well, back at the patriarch's mansion, the angry fat dude's dad totally kicked the doors down while he was sleeping. Catching him snoozing, the crazy dad starts swinging, screaming that he'll put him to sleep permanently. And yeah, that is exactly why the panicked vassal is running around looking for Hyunsung. After a bit, he spots the fat dude's horse and frantically asks a local kid where the owner went. Hearing Hyunsung went up Pagoda Mountain, literal bandit territory, he starts bawling his eyes out, picturing his master getting completely destroyed by crooks. He completely panics and runs. Meanwhile, deep in the freezing, pouring rain, the surviving villagers are rushing toward the closest safe spot. Somebody is hiding nearby. Turns out, it's the old guide who brought Hyunsung here, and he's helping them escape. The woman thanks him for the save. In response, the old guy asks about a bandaged young dude. He's talking about her savior, and she fully knows he stayed back to fight those mountain bandits totally solo. Now pay close attention. This is where things get wild. The angry bandits still can't find our guy until someone points at the waterfall. A dude strolls right out of the water, joking about almost drowning. The bandits are super confused, but he just smiles, saying they actually saved him a trip. He was coming to hunt them down anyway. Seriously, none of these guys even recognize him. Brushing his wet hair back, he asks if they were looking for him. They just stare blankly. Hyunsung got such an insane glow-up that they're totally clueless. Calling him the loose-skinned guy makes zero sense at this point. Cold as ice, Hyunsung casually tells them to drop their clothes. They say no, so he instantly roundhouses a guy right in the dome. One-hit knockout, and bro didn't even use a drop of mana. The rest absolutely freeze in terror. Meanwhile, Hyunsung just complains that his fresh fit is already dirty, so he definitely needs backups. He glares at the thugs who know they're doomed. Cut to them standing in their boxers, shaking like crazy in the freezing cold. Hyunsung grabs his brand new weapon, deciding it's time for a field test. The freezing bandits don't even see it coming. In a flash, one guy's head goes flying cleanly off. Hyunsung laughs, asking if they're just gonna stand around waiting to get packed up. They beg for mercy, but he shoots them down. He already swore to take their heads. They run in terror, but it's too late. The hunt is on. That day, every single bandit on that mountain gets wiped. Nobody escapes Hyun-sung. You and I both know a power-up changes things, but look at this. Washing his dirty clothes at the river, he checks his reflection and is totally stunned. Bro is ridiculously handsome now. He quickly figures out that crazy virgin ginseng gave him this massive glow-up. He's pumped but low-key embarrassed, looking pretty as his sister. Suddenly, some loud screams completely interrupt his moment. They're coming from the mountain peak. Up there, the poor old guide is being tortured by bandits. The survivors got caught all over again. The guide refuses to snitch on our guy, so they gear up to whip him another time. Then a thug spots something weird, asking why some random dude is just chilling in the snow watching them. Hyun-sung crouches down with a weird motion. The bandits are super confused. Is he seriously just scooping snow? Thinking it's a game, they laugh, but that snowball hits like a literal bomb. Several thugs drop instantly, completely wrecked by snow. Anyone foolish enough to fight back gets sliced up at lightning speed. The thugs can't even track him as he dashes up, totally shredding them on the way down. Any survivors get completely obliterated by his moon destroyer strike. Just one guy is left standing. Hyun-sung asks if he's scared, but this bandit has zero clue who he's even looking at. The old guide coughs up blood. Remembering how this kind man helped him cross the mountain, Hyun-sung goes completely into rage mode. He asks if this thug did it, and the terrified survivor immediately lies. Hyun-sung replies with one insane spear swing, chopping him in half. The captive survivors beg for mercy, but he didn't come for them. He came to rescue the guy who saved him. The old guide finally gets it. Hyun-sung tells everyone to head back to the village. Seeing the old man can't talk, Hyun-sung pumps spiritual energy straight into him, literally burning his nasty wounds completely shut. It's brutal first aid, but it's all he's got. He asks someone to carry the guide, ordering them to run to the village and never look back. Trust me on this. They run, while Hyun-sung swears to drop heaven-tier payback on those trash bandits. Let's jump into this. The bandit guards are wondering why thunder is rumbling on a perfectly clear winter day. Boom! One gets beheaded so fast he doesn't even know he's cooked. The other guy drops from the exact same lightning-fast strike. Hyun-sung takes a deep breath and literally roars for the bald leader to step up. Zero mercy planned for these absolute monsters today. Anyone in his way gets absolutely wrecked. He tears through these bandits like wet paper, dropping groups of them without breaking a sweat. Today, Hyun-sung is wiping this entire clan off the map. The onlookers are literally shaking, knowing they're next on the chopping block. Suddenly, an arrow whizzes by. The bald boss and his crew finally arrive. This is exactly what our boy wanted. Time to flex some serious skills. The timing could not be more perfect. Then a familiar voice drops in. His wild vassal just pulled up with the squad to crush this bandit camp. The squad rushes the bandits, and the vassal is actually throwing hands like a pro. The bald boss yells for his goons to hold the line, but naturally, the coward turns tail and bolts. Hyun-sung is definitely not letting that slippery worm get away. Baldy is freaking out that he's still being chased. Plus, he totally doesn't recognize Hyun-sung's crazy new glow-up face. Now watch this part. He sees that raised middle finger and suddenly remembers everything. The dude is absolutely horrified. How did this kid get so insanely buff overnight? Realizing just how outclassed he is, the boss hits his knees crying and begging for mercy. He offers food, gold, you name it. But Hyun-sung just asks if his gang ever showed anyone else mercy. Karma has arrived, bro. Hyun-sung steps up and finishes exactly what he came here to do. Right then, the vassal jogs up asking if he's okay, completely clueless that this Chad is his young master. Instead, he seriously asks where Hyun-sung went. Then he just starts yapping about how dumb the family is. He totally roasts the young master, calling him ugly, super toxic, and saying he used to eat like a literal pig. Hyun-sung thinks about knocking his own guy out for a second, but when the vassal finally connects the dots, backpedaling instantly. Suddenly he's acting like Hyun-sung is a supermodel, rushing to get back before the patriarch snaps. But Hyun-sung still has beef with that chaos servant. So the vassal whips out this crazy divine whip from his old days as an inspector. Hyun-sung wasn't having any of it and tried to dip. No dice. The butler literally lassos him with the whip and yanks him right back. Midair, Hyun-sung throws a punch that the vassal barely blocks. Everyone's jaws hit the floor. In just a few months, this kid leveled up so hard he's actually pushing back a former high-tier inspector. One massive hit shoves the guy back several feet, but then Hyun gets totally blindsided from behind. Hey, the squad's gotta follow the boss man's orders. You feel that tension, right? Things are getting dead serious, but out of nowhere the old guy just randomly pops up. He gives Hyun a massive shout-out for the save, confirming all the prisoners dipped out safely. Talk about being super grateful. Hyun really came in clutch for a lot of folks, but while he's distracted playing hero, the vassal sneaks up, ties him down, and hauls him off while he's screaming. Eventually, the vassal just flat-out knocks him out for an easier trip. He also tells the whole crew to zip their lips about Hyun's crazy skills. Since our boy used a fake gamer tag, keep it that way. The loudest guy in the room usually gets clapped, and extra hype means extra drama. Meanwhile, back in the cave, the ultra-rare ginseng is completely gone. The chaos servant shows up, loses his absolute mind over it, and almost deletes his own henchmen. He screams at them to find the thief right now, and literally cancel their entire bloodline. His precious loot got sniped and he is raging hard. Honestly, finders keepers, buddy. When Hyun finally reboots, he realizes he completely fumbled his chance to hunt down that chaos servant back in the cave. Still, once the second boss, the Millennium Snail, drops, he will get his rematch. Pretty soon, the squad rolls up to Hefei City. The place is absolutely massive and bumping. The market here makes his hometown look like a joke, complete with sick tourist spots. Stepping out of his ride, Hyun finds himself staring at the Emperor's Gate. Guards try to block him from walking in, until somebody shouts at them to stand down. Plot twist, it's his old man who's been waiting right there. Seeing his dad looking super stressed, Hyun tries to be sweet. But nope, he gets totally ignored because Dad does not recognize this handsome dude. Instead, Pops just starts wailing on the vassal, furious that he apparently lied in his texts about Hyun coming back with him. Taking a serious beating, the poor guy finally screams that the absolute gigachad standing right there is his son. Dad takes one confused look at Hyun, then goes straight back to smacking the vassal. No shot that top-tier model was his kid, so Hyun finally drops a "Hey, Dad." The old guy literally freezes, asking if that's really his boy. Trust me, you and I wouldn't believe it either. Let us kick things off with some crazy news. The captain reported the public thinks some vassal handled the mess, but you and I know the truth. Hyun literally wiped out that entire clan solo. Old man Namgung was super impressed, but definitely skeptical. He straight up asked if the captain needed glasses. Nope, the captain admitted it literally took the whole squad jumping Hyun just to hold him down. That is when Hyun's dad chimed in, claiming his kid was just being a little stubborn. Bro, Hyun is the future heir, born with insane martial arts talent, and hey, he finally slimmed down into a totally handsome young dude. Basically, the dad thought Namgung was ignoring facts and believing wild street gossip. Classic boomer move. So the patriarch declared he is handling Hyun's marriage himself. Soon after, The bosses met up with Sinyan right in the middle of all this. Hyun's dad insisted the boy should totally take the martial arts exams. But Namgung cut him off. He said that basic path would only make a gifted kid like Hyun into a regular general. His dad was like, "What is the alternative?" The old man promised that with the right master, Hyun could literally save the nation and make history. Hearing about saving the country totally fired our boy up. His dad was shook. Does a master like that even exist? Namgung smiled, no need to search for one. He planned to teach the kid himself. Yep, the retired Namgung patriarch, the legendary King Sword, Namgung Chungshin. Pay attention, folks. Hyun totally realized the old man just wanted him for his recent accomplishments. He knew this clan was crazy materialistic, despite all their clout. Still, Hyun saw a massive chance to level up and dodge the Yu clan. That was only if his dad actually agreed to it. Literally a second later, his dad was already tearing up hearing Hyun wanted to be Namgung's disciple. But the Namgung elder had already completely brainwashed the old man, so things smoothed over super fast. His dad felt so relieved Namgung would mentor his son, especially since he had to visit the emperor now. Confused, Namgung asked what the emperor wanted. Maybe the emperor was picking the next ruler and needed his grandfather right by his side. Namgung totally buttered him up, saying it proved his massive trustworthiness. And man, the dad ate it up. Hyun was already so over this boomer talk. Later, they hit the emperor's gate for their final goodbyes. His crying dad told him to respect his uncle and train hard. Then came the classic overprotective speech. Eat your meals, write twice a week, blah blah. Finally, they started walking, and Hyun was so glad the cringe was over. Well, that relief vanished instantly. Before dipping, his dad and the vassal did this super dramatic, ultra-embarrassing wave goodbye. Hyun was just completely mortified. But honestly, he low-key loved the attention. Then his uncle shouted, Hyun spun around, and the patriarch just said, "Follow me." Stick with me, guys. Hyun figured the real training was starting. They strolled through town, greeting everyone. It took zero time for Hyun to see how famous this guy was. Everywhere they went, people were bowing with massive respect. But what really blew Hyun's mind was the absolute massive scale of the Namgung city. Guards were everywhere, but the second they saw their boss, they parted ways. Namgung led him up. Soon they hit the top of the castle wall. Hyun loved the view. Then the old man randomly started floating. Hyun realized this absolute unit was using aerial steps. That is something his own master could not even pull off. After a bit, the old man touched down on a wooden tower, turned around, and told Hyun to get up there. Hyun could have totally used the beggar sect movement art to jump up, but he figured the Sword King would hate that. The dude would probably completely rage about Hyun mixing with those beggar sect guys, so he went with a different move. Hyun leaped up and landed right in front. The old man praised his speed, making Hyun feel honored. Then, totally out of nowhere, the boomer asked if he noticed the streets they walked, and how many places they just passed. Hyun literally shivered. Was this a secret pop quiz the whole entire time? The patriarch answered for him, though, 64 places. Hyun quickly apologized for not paying attention. Instead of raging, the old man dropped a bomb. Every single place belonged to the Namgung clan. Shocked, Hyun asked him to repeat that. The patriarch just pointed at a pavilion by the mountain entrance and asked if Hyun could see it. Hyun said yes. Then the old man flexed that everything from there to the far side was Namgung territory. He asked if all those lands weren't incredibly enormous. Confused, Hyun just agreed that yes, it was all huge. Then he asked what Hyun thought of it all. You and I are just as lost as he is. All right, stick with me here. You and I are about to see this dude straight up talking to himself. treating this hike like an agility test. Before Hyun could ditch him, the old geezer asked if the kid finally understood his massive wealth. But Hyun was already prepping to bounce. The second he moved, the patriarch called him out, saying he clearly still didn't get the hint after seeing all this cash. Suddenly, the word possessions clicked in his brain, and Hyun slammed his forehead straight into the dirt. Lifting his totally bruised face, he begged the old man to just spit it out clearly. With the fakest smirk ever, the patriarch dropped a bomb. A huge chunk of this fortune could be his. That shocked him, but then came the real hook. All he had to do was marry the old man's granddaughter, who came with wild money. After all that crazy hype, Hyun finally pieced together why he got dragged up here. Yep, an arranged marriage. The old man proudly confirmed it. Everything suddenly clicked. This was exactly why the famous Sword King hassled his dad so much just to bring him over. Still grinning like a maniac, the geezer promised he would convince the girl, so no worries. Thinking this entire setup was totally bananas, he literally yeeted himself off the roof. If the Sword King wanted a wedding already, the guy was unhinged. The old guy chased right after him, screaming for the little punk to wait. Hyun totally ignored him and bolted. Hot on his heels, the grandpa wore a super creepy look, yelling he could throw in even more cash. Watch closely, because you and I are seeing why being a prodigy actually has major downsides. Having the Sword King obsess over him completely wrecked his chill vibe. Suddenly stopping, the old dude screamed that marrying his granddaughter meant bagging most of the Namgung clan's insane riches. Hyun completely refused him. Super offended, the grandpa demanded to know why. So Hyun flexed on him. He is the only Yu clan heir. His family owns Amping, and the emperor constantly showers his dad with gifts. Why would he ever marry for cash? Letting out a massive sigh, he told the poor guy again that he was loaded, so this whole marriage pitch needed to stop. Hyun was only hyped because he wanted to learn epic combat skills. Finally, the old man realized flexing money does nothing to a trust fund baby. But hey, as the absolute legend who shattered every limit to become the Sword King, he definitely had a backup plan. Soon after, the dude started flexing some flashy sword combos. Hyun just watched, annoyed and wondering why he got dragged out of bed for this. Wrapping up, Namgung proudly bragged about his emperor style, asking if it blew his mind. Hyun just figured old dudes really have too much morning energy. Then Grandpa chucked his sword, hyping it up as the explosive vibrant blade technique. The weapon ripped through the trees from crazy angles, and Hyun was just sitting there wondering if those trunks cost a fortune. The old man kept spamming ultimate moves for a solid minute. Panting heavily, he bragged that these secrets are strictly for direct Namgung bloodlines. He was about to tease that marrying in would unlock the skill tree, but Hyun was already walking away bored. Completely panicking, the grandpa tackled him, practically begging the kid to watch his epic showcase. He yelled that these moves were priceless, but Hyun just shrugged, saying everything he saw so far looked pretty mid. The old guy burst out laughing, totally assuming the kid was trolling. He admitted Hyun had talent, but since he was a total noob, there was zero chance he actually understood how broken these techniques were. He went into lecture mode, explaining how arts are perfectly refined over generations. Hyun interrupted, saying he could easily do it too. Stunned, the grandpa told him to quit capping. Hyun just calmly offered to prove it. Grabbing a random stick, he figured shutting this down was the only way to escape. You and I know he's overpowered, right? Well, he figured faking genius mode again wouldn't hurt. He started swinging while Grandpa kept yelling to stop playing. Then Hyun smoothly sheathed the stick in midair. Taking a breath, he launched his crazy demo. The old man stood completely frozen. Hyun was literally pulling off the emperor style flawlessly, and he was doing it with a literal twig. The grandpa's brain basically short-circuited. Freaking out, he screamed for Hyun to stop. Totally rattled, he demanded to know how a kid just copied his ultimate emperor style. Not even slightly scared, Hyun smoothly replied that the old man taught him. Super confused, he asked if the kid was being for real. Hyun just said he literally watched him do it a second ago. Boom, reality hit the patriarch. Calling this kid a genius was the biggest understatement of the century. While Grandpa was having an existential crisis over this copycat stunt, Hyun snapped him out of it, asking why he was standing around drooling. He tossed the stick, completely rejecting the wedding. "Trust me, you and I saw that coming. Stick with me here." The old man just mumbled okay watching that branch drop, but his eyes were absolutely burning. This kid was flawless and he swore they would get married. Meanwhile, in Namgung City, 3 guys were prowling the streets, blending right in with the locals. They kept it super low-key until their leader told them to split up. Walking away, he thought back to the juicy intel he just bought off a random local. The rumor, some client rolled in 2 days ago, grabbed anyone who knew about Hwang Shan and started asking about the Crimson Pebble. The guy was named Jin Wigong, and yeah, classic move, the poor snitch got totally offed. Anyway, back at our main guy's room, somebody was screaming for his uncle outside. So Hyun swings the door wide open. It was his old master, now his nephew, yelling about training. Hyun just chilled, saying he did not need Namgung cultivation arts. That instantly ticked the kid off, and he demanded Hyun come with him right away. In his past life, that glare would have totally shook Hyun, but now, it was honestly kind of cute. The kid was raging. He absolutely hated this whole vibe, especially since Hyun was so cracked he could copy any move just by seeing it. But look, physical talent means nothing without inner energy. Without that, you are just a garbage fighter. And right now, he could not sense a single drop of internal energy coming from Hyun. So he grabs Hyun by the shoulder, ordering him to move. Hyun just smirked, thinking this absolute clown was digging his own grave. Watch closely now, because with one wicked look, he decided it was finally time to train his disciple. Shoving the kid's hand away, he laughed. He heard his nephew wanted to tutor him, but there was literally zero to learn here. Honestly, Hyun should be the one schooling this useless kid. The boy snapped, saying he was polite calling him uncle, yet Hyun acts so cocky. Hyun just laughed at his twisted face. Was he really going to punch his own uncle just to force him along? He dared him to try it, dropping that nephew title again. Man, that just made the kid way madder. With this super dark aura flaring up, Hyun joked about what was wrong with calling his own nephew that. With a wild grin, he kept repeating nephew. The kid screamed that he was completely insane and way too arrogant. Honestly, arrogant was a weak insult for that much rage. He should have been swearing up a storm. The bait totally worked. He looked ready to literally explode, but still kept it clean. Hyun roasted him for being basic, mocking him for only knowing one insult. In his past life, this dude dropped a fresh swear word every single day. So Hyun only remembered him as that unhinged kid who was always swearing like a sailor. Back then, his sword skills were totally unmatched. Everyone literally called him the Sword King of 7 emotions. He pushed every single emotion to the max through fighting. He would deck you for waking up grumpy, or just because his lunch was awesome. Hyun suffered big time from those mood swings before, so seeing him act normal now made 0 sense. You are probably thinking the same thing I am. How is this polite kid destined for absolute emotional madness? If that changed, one of Muwon's top heroes might never exist. Hyun was not letting that slide. First, he just wanted to fix his fighting. Now he had to fix his entire vibe. He called it annoying, but that wicked grin said he was totally hyped. The nephew, now straight up calling his uncle a scoundrel, demanded to know what he was rambling about. Boom, Hyun just teleports right in front of him, saying he will understand everything once he gets beat down. Startled, he wondered if that was heavenly wind skating. Taking his stance, he yelled a fake had zero chance. He rushed in, ready to show the massive gap between real and fake. Man, his attacks were actually super fierce. Even Hyun was impressed, dodging like a ghost. But honestly, basic strikes like that were never touching him. He swings again, and Hyun does a weird jump. The boy guarded on instinct, but a quick kick easily threw his balance off. He blocked, but the insane raw power still sent him flying backward. While the kid was gasping for air, Hyun teased him for just playing defense, then blitzed forward at blinding speed. Expecting a punch, the kid tried to guard, but it was a total fake out. He thought about dodging with inner energy, but Hyun flashed a cold smile. Game over, buddy. A brutal punch glowing with blue aura was already waiting. Realizing it way too late, he tried tanking the hit with his energy, but quickly found out he was totally overpowered and stumbled hard. Catching that opening, Hyun smashed his fist right through his guard. A perfectly clean hit using a Namgung clan move. With an absolute explosion of light, he punched his nephew squarely in the face, literally laughing like a maniac. He slams the wall, and trust me, you and I know this wild beatdown is just beginning. All right, stick with me here. The boy is totally wrecked, coughing up blood. Shocked, he asks how Hyun used explosive illumination with zero internal energy. Did he seriously just copy it from one touch? If so, the guy is an absolute god-tier genius. Against this absolute monster in front of him, game over. Hyun just says his nephew still has tons to learn. The poor dude is terrified as the heavy hits keep raining down. Hyun beats him senseless, saying he has waited forever for this moment. He just keeps kicking and smashing his face. Zero mercy whatsoever. Because honestly, this is exactly what Hyun suffered from him in his past life. He has been hyping up this revenge day forever, and now he is having a blast. Still swearing, the kid begs him to stop because the pain is unreal. Suddenly, something clicks. He remembers words from his past. That feeling inside him, pure rage. Crying his eyes out, he screams at Hyun to cut the crap. Bam! Another brutal hook right to the face. Seeing his nephew is still way too weak, Hyun starts plotting a mega power-up. He even thinks about hunting down that second mystical beast. Later on, he points at the kid, saying they are training together now. And boom, the poor guy's nightmare officially begins. Fast forward a few days back at the Namgung family palace, the brutal hell training is still happening. Now watch closely, this is where it gets crazy. 10 straight days of hell and the boy finally snaps, swinging his sword with pure emotion. Hyun notices the strike actually packs some serious internal energy. In just a few days, the kid literally weaponized his own anger. That gives Hyun an idea. The boy levels up fastest when pushed to his limits. Fusing anger into his attacks is good enough for now. Next up, learning how to naturally draw that crazy rage out. Thinking that, Hyun smacks him and sends him flying. He instantly rushes in for another punch, but his nephew's expression totally shifts. His eyes scream pure rage. That is exactly what Hyun wanted. The kid counters with a massive, anger-fueled mega strike. The second he realizes he missed, pure panic sets in. If Hyun counters now, he is sleeping for 3 solid days. But out of nowhere, Hyun calls it a day and says they need to go. The confused kid just asks where. Hyun drops a terrifying glare, asking if he is talking back. Fearing another epic beatdown, the boy jumps up, ready to roll. Even though he has zero clue where they are going, hey, at least he is learning. Elsewhere in the Namgung clan city, Folks are just chilling when a random guy stops by a beggar, tossing a coin in his bowl. The beggar says thanks, and the guy casually asks for a quick chat in return. Turns out, he is an undercover scout reporting that leader Jin Wigong is nowhere inside the Namgung clan. The beggar stays dead silent, then asks if he is totally sure. The scout nods, mentioning some weird guy showed up right around the same time. I know what you're thinking, who is it? The leader asks, and hears the name Yu Chan, Yu Shangwan's kid staying at the clan. The scout asks if they should call the captain. Thinking it over, the beggar spots Hyun and his nephew walking past right then. He decides nope, no need for the captain yet. They are going to handle this investigation solo. Instantly, a spy starts tailing our duo. The scout gets up and the beggar thanks him again. The real mission, move the plan forward, but wait, someone else is totally watching. Two angry dudes are stalking the beggar for making cash on their turf without paying. Basically, they are salty and want to jump him. Later on, the nephew complains the books are full of miserable, depressing people. Why lug around all this heavy junk? Hyun says it builds experience, and nobody ever died from reading a little. Since our main character also grew up rich, he cannot really argue back. Now Hyun makes him read a Beijing opera and laugh out loud. The kid is super confused, but eventually vibes with it. Hyun drops some wisdom. Happiness calms the mind, keeping all that sadness and rage away. If the kid's heart chills out, he can actually think straight and read his enemies perfectly. The boy promises to remember that, then asks why they still need the gloomy books. Meanwhile, we cut right back to the fake beggars. They have already locked onto their targets. The mission is easy: shadow them and observe. The boss says he is tracking Yu Chan personally. The rest just need to lay low and stay hidden until they leave Hefei. Suddenly, someone screams at the beggar. Hyun and his nephew instantly turn around to see what is happening. It is the angry dude from earlier, yelling at the beggar for hustling tax-free. And that's where we leave it. Their sneaky plan is completely ruined. The random thugs just mock the beggar for acting tough. Their top guy styled himself as Wang Tu from Hefei's Jua sect. The beggar played scared, but Wang Tu still told his goons to jump him. Stick with me here. The fake beggar boss knew spilling his secret would completely tank their entire master plan. With Yu Chan right there, the guy debated just taking the hit. Watching this mess unfold, the nephew asked if they should jump in. Yu Chan basically called him a clueless kid who grew up way too sheltered. Real life is no fairy tale, man. They could not fix everything. Beggar sect and vagabond sect street brawls were super normal here. These specific dudes, Jua sect goons, total mortal enemies of the beggars. Plus, these guys were not even real martial artists. Just another perfect excuse to totally mind their own business. They bounced, totally missing the bad guy signaling his crew to strike. Suddenly, a massive purple aura exploded from the alleyway, ordering everyone to freeze right there. The vagabond boss was completely clueless right before getting blasted totally away from the poor beggar. A goon screamed for the kid, but nope, the villains had already boxed them in completely. Their boss barked at everyone to chill. Scrambling back up, the guy ordered his squad to grab the beggar. But under that insane aura, nobody could even twitch. The beggar casually strolled up, asking if the attacker realized his massive mistake. Now watch closely. This was a super rare, one-shot opportunity, and totally blowing it was absolutely not an option. So the vagabond kid had to pay up. He grabbed his head and did exactly what you are picturing. After that brutal move, he pointed out a nearby river, ordering his crew to dump everything and wipe all evidence. They hyped up and obeyed. That night, a bunch of vagabond guys straight up vanished just for punching a beggar. Nearby, somebody was hiding. It was one of Wang's dudes. realizing these guys were absolutely not your average street vagabonds. And that beggar, fake news, bawling his eyes out, the spy bolted to warn the actual beggar sect. Over at the Namgung Pavilion, the family boss was totally raging, demanding to know where she was. He had ordered his granddaughter home for an arranged marriage, but she said nope, hard pass. Even crazier, she dipped to the battlefield to smash unorthodox sex, making sure her letter dropped after she ghosted. The old man was literally seeing red. Throwing a total fit, he ranted about how kids these days had zero respect or manners. Since she was MIA, he decided to send Hyun out instead. Loving that idea, he went to hunt down our main guy. Suddenly, massive cursing echoed out. Thinking some goons had broken in, he vaulted right over the wall to investigate. You and I both see the humor here, right? Hyun was swinging blades while his nephew literally bawled and cursed nonstop. Bam! A golden aura sparked from his blade. The old dude thought it looked like controlled fire. Our hero spotted him sneaking, and right before the strike connected, he yelled for them to freeze. The kid hit the brakes. Hyun instantly raged, yelling that the hit totally could have nailed his head. Hyun, swearing like a sailor, actually impressed the old guy, while our hero asked what he wanted. Hopping off the roof, the boomer claimed their wild training caught his eye, so Hyun invited him to chill and watch. The old guy questioned if he even owned his house anymore. He asked about the sword lessons, but Hyun insisted they were just sparring. The young patriarch was super confused about why he lied. The old man noted the kid used a totally rogue move, and Hyun casually bragged he invented it from scratch. That shook the young guy, begging for details. Hyun explained it was the sword of 7 emotions, purely fueled by raw feelings. The boomer hyped out, realizing their speed-focused clan was totally leveling up and stepping into a whole new modern era. When our main guy finally asked why he showed up, the boomer said he had to hit up the Murim alliance ASAP. But mid-speech, a dude barged in yelling that a Hefei beggar sect guy just rolled up, and some crazy disaster had totally gone down. The old man hit pause on their chat, while Hyun figured he really needed to check this drama out himself. Left totally solo, he laughed at how similar those two were. With zero plans, he decided to just casually stroll through the bustling city. While walking, a sketchy squad eyed him. One of the goons whispered to their boss for direct orders. The fake beggar boss figured this was their ultimate golden ticket, so he totally hyped his squad to go hunt him down. The crew agreed, planning to jump him in an alley. Meanwhile, our clueless hero just loved exploring the crowded streets in peace. Things were super messy before because the vamping locals kept totally fangirling over him. What do you and I think? Even badasses secretly miss those smiling faces and sweet little gifts. Alright, stick with me on this one. Our former chubby bro knows keeping vamping prefecture totally safe from chaos means stepping up right now. He has to make a move before things get out of hand. But suddenly, he spots a dude walking past who looks super familiar. He figures it is just some random guy he bumped into on the street, so he totally brushes it off. But hold up. Mid-dumpling, his radar goes off. He plays it totally cool, but there is definitely some creepy dude watching his every move from afar. He keeps strolling through the city, but yep, that exact same stalker is still on his tail. Soon enough, he passes a beggar and recognizes the hobo from yesterday. He is super annoyed. Like, bro, did you really think a wardrobe change makes you invisible? He remembers the crazy rumors about the beggar sect getting wiped out, and bets his money these sketchy dudes did it. So he calls out to this guy fake reading a book, super casually asking what his deal is. That jump scare totally rattles his stalkers, and the book nerd gets absolutely wrecked right in the family jewels. While they are panicking, our boy goes ghost. The squad sprints after him to block the exit, but by the time they hit the alley, empty. Bro vanished. The long-haired dude sits there confused, wondering where he went wrong. Then he calls out from the roof. Watch closely, because this is where our guy flips the script, demanding to know why this entire squad is hunting him down. The old-timer glares at him, super salty. Our hero drops down like a boss and coldly asks why they are swarming him like rats. Then he straight up asks if they are the same clowns who chased him last night. One look at their guilty faces confirms it. He wonders if they are the 9 Dragons Fortress leftovers, or just thirsty for the virgin ginseng. The boomer tells his squad that zeroing him would be a piece of cake, but our boy is linked to a massive government VIP. And messing with the feds is bad news. He straight up asks if our guy is Jinwoo Gang, the absolute legend who swiped the virgin ginseng. Our boy just plays dumb, acting totally clueless about that name. The squinty old man starts sweating, wondering if they jumped the wrong dude. If he ate that ginseng, he should hit the energy condensation tier, but he reads 0 aura. However, our former big boy learned stealth tricks from that beggar. His poker face is flawless, so they are never figuring out his true power. But he also realizes, if they are this down bad for the ginseng, they are 100% tied to the servants of chaos. Time to stop playing games. He is gonna bag them all and squeeze out the truth. The squinty elder tries to backpedal and fake an apology, but our guy cuts him off. Nobody is leaving until they spill their absolute whole backstory. The old dude drops the nice guy act and yells attack. His elite goons completely rush him. Seeing them charge without even using their ultimate moves just pisses him off. Bam, bam, 2 casual hits, and he literally launches 2 grown men straight through a solid wall. He flexes on the old man, asking if they seriously thought he was that weak to attack without popping any skills. You and I both know that 0 energy flex absolutely terrified this squinty old dude. Our boy steps over the trash and asks if the old boomer is gonna run away next, which just makes the dude insanely mad. Knowing the math is totally not in his favor, our hero acts cocky and asks if they want to play a game. He scoops up a knocked-out goon and dips. The long-haired boomer chases him and throws a cheap shot from behind. But our guy dodges it effortlessly. He does a quick scan and finds the absolute perfect spot for his big brain play. He flexes hard and yeets his hostage straight onto a roof. The guy crashes right through, sending the people inside into total panic mode. Then he vaults into the sky, winding up a crazy kick. One single hit absolutely obliterates the entire building. The elite fighters pull up to the rubble, and he smirks, saying they got here super fast. Touching his face, he wonders if the old man caught on to his disguise. The old man literally freezes in his tracks. The guy standing in the rubble is someone he actually recognizes. Dropping the disguise, our hero laughs that these bozos followed him right into the dead center of Hefei City. He taunts them, asking if they still want all the smoke, because now they gotta fight him and the 2 massive clans guarding the city. Seeing the huge trap, the boomer curses his 200 IQ play. Fighting 2 whole clans is literal suicide, so they need to ditch Hefei right this second. But before they bounce, he orders his top dogs to wipe out our hero. Our boy instantly realizes they want him permanently muted. He stomps the ground hard, launching massive chunks of concrete straight into the air. Then he smirks, asking if they seriously thought his trick bag was empty. Grabbing the floating rocks, he thinks they totally missed their chance to run. Popping the 12 consecutive cuts technique, he speed blitzes the entire squad at once. Suddenly, a guy lunges from behind. Our boy gives him props for the effort, but trust me, you and I know a real master never falls for something that basic. While getting choked, the dude suddenly downs a crazy pill. Stick with me, guys, because our boy just realized something is super sketchy about this dude dropping dead. He whips around to find the boss, but boom, too late. His captured buddy is totally toast. Total chaos breaks out everywhere. These guys are actually slaughtering their own crew just to wipe out the evidence. The old geezer yells to fall back, and the three elders totally dip. Our guy, he says, bet. If they want to play dirty, he is going all out. An insane chase rips through the whole city. One guy realizes he ain't getting away. He hits the brakes and turns to fight. Our boy dodges the blade like it is nothing and one-shots him. He could not care less. The old boss mutters something to his lackey, and he nods. Next corner, they split up. Our guy starts sweating, thinking he might actually lose one. But suddenly the old dude looks up, completely panicked. Guys ahead are screaming halt. It is the city guard clans. Our hero thinks they took forever to show up, but hey, better late than never. Now it is just him and the old boss. The geezer sprints like crazy with our boy right behind. Now pay attention, this is where it gets crazy. Desperate, the dude whips out a weird ball, spins, and chucks it. But blink and you miss it, our guy vanished. The ball hits thin air and goes boom. Out of nowhere, our hero pops back up, yells at him, and clocks his face. That punch sends the dude flying down the block, straight into a brick wall. Cracking his knuckles, our boy says game over. His goons are already busted. Completely wrecked, the old man demands to know who he actually is. But winners ask the questions around here. He asks about the other creepy elder, then warns him to start talking or they will hang out all night. Struggling back up, the boss flashes back to everything he sacrificed for this dumb plan. If he is going down, he is taking this kid with him. Seeing that crazy look, our guy knows he is about to pull a kamikaze move, which just pisses the boss off way more. He totally snaps, asking if this looks like a joke. Coast is clear, no sect members around. Our boy decides to end this right now. The geezer is confused but braces for the absolute worst. He is totally ready to silence this kid for good. He thinks our guy is gonna charge in for a close-range fight, but nope. Our boy remembers the sickest move to flex on him. He drops into a super chill stance, plants his feet, and charges up pure energy. An insane aura surges from his toes, straight up, packing right into his fist. You guys felt that impact too, right? A massive invisible punch absolutely flattens the old man, while our boy literally just stands there chilling. The boomer gets blasted through the wall again, and boom, a literal massive explosion. He asks if that was spicy enough, drops the name, Shale in Supreme Art, 30-meter Mystic Fist. Supposedly, once you master this bad boy, you can drop thousands of punches. Staring at the smashed dude on the floor, he scratches his head. Cannot exactly interrogate a pancake out here. Lucky for him, the beggar's sect leader pops out of nowhere, calling dibs on the prisoner. Our guy is like, sure whatever, and walks over. Two beggar dudes check his body and tell their boss it is exactly as beyond described. The elder asks to take this trash off his hands. Our boy is super confused, wondering what that sneaky thief meant. Suddenly, somebody comes sprinting over, screaming for his uncle. It is the young master, and the very first thing he notices, our boy's clothes are totally trashed. This kid, completely tamed in just 10 days, gets super defensive and demands who wrecked his fit. Our hero just smacks him and says zip it. The kid is completely shocked, whining. He raises his hand to smack him again, annoyed. Meanwhile, the elder realizes that smashed guy was super strong. His crew was at the manifested energy level, maybe even projected energy. And yet, this young dude mopped the floor with all of them. The elder apologizes for the random disrespect. The old man explains the Gua sect, their best buddies, got completely wiped by guys like him. He casually asks how our boy knows them. Oh snap, our guy realizes he is totally being interrogated. So he plays dumb, saying those thugs were chasing someone else and mixed him up. So what do you and I think? After surviving all that brutal training, our guy is definitely not getting tricked. Let's dive right in, guys. The bearded elder still totally suspects our boy is hiding something, but figures they're useful. He could even trace this mess back to the Namgung clan if he had to. But right now, our hero's power level is basically 0. These shadow-dwelling enemies are super sneaky. Nobody has a clue how they'll react once they find out their pursuit squad got completely smoked. If that drops, the entire U clan could get totally wiped out. So he's gotta bait their aggro somewhere else. Enter the Beggars sect. These guys are absolutely cracked at digging up dirty secrets. Once the beggars make a move, he buys himself precious time. Just gotta point them in the right direction. So our MC fakes remembering the enemy's name. The bearded dude gets crazy hyped, begging him to drop the lore. But our boy, hard pass. He almost died in that brawl and trusting this beggar boss. Yeah, right. He shoots his disciple a desperate look, basically screaming for backup telepathically. Catching that terrifying glare, the poor kid is sweating, wondering how he messed up. His brain goes into overdrive, trying to bust out all his nerd stats in statecraft and math. He steps up, tells the beggar to chill, and claims his uncle is stressed. Our MC is internally screaming right now. The kid just completely derailed his master plan. Still, the beggar apologizes. He claims this is about sect honor, so he demands full custody of the prisoner. Before his disciple can yap anymore, the MC instantly agrees. Now watch closely, this is where his genius shows. He agrees, but demands they share any intel they find while keeping his name out of it. The bearded guy swears they will. Our boy dips with a devious little smirk, leaving the beggar staring at his back. The long-haired dude is fuming, feeling totally scammed since he didn't even snag a rusty coin for info. But his boss snaps at him, dropping that ruin of the heavens line, meaning, these shadowy guys literally want to shatter the sky itself. Basically, they're plotting to flip the entire Murim world upside down. If they interrogate this captive and expose the plot, that's an instant promotion to main sect elder, baby. So he barks the order, grab the prisoner and haul him back to base camp. Fast forward a few hours to nightfall. The MC realizes his servant was supposed to track the second mystical creature, but the plot just seriously thickened. He's gotta play it super safe now, especially since they completely fumbled the virgin ginseng grab. He bets they'll speedrun straight for that second mystical beast. So he's gotta speed blitz this before everything goes totally chaotic. Meanwhile, back at the sect, a massive shout echoes out. It's the old man, absolutely flabbergasted. He asks if our guy is seriously heading to the Orthodox Murim Alliance. And yep, the answer is a solid yes. Our boy says he needs that real-world XP. The old man instantly agrees, telling him to buddy up with Rai and make sure Sung tags along too. The young master is completely shook by this, but the old man admits it's tough, considering Sung is literally the young patriarch now. Our MC gets it instantly. Being the young boss means heavy duties, he can't just ditch. So our hero just shrugs, saying he'll go pack his bags. I know what you're thinking, is this a harem setup? Well, as Hyun leaves, he remembers the 5 other unbelievably gorgeous phoenixes besides Rai. Oh yeah, our boy is hyped. The old man's jaw practically hits the floor. Hyun just keeps yapping, dreaming out loud about meeting one and tying the knot. Spring romance is in the air, baby. The old man instantly starts screeching for an emergency clan meeting. Hyun skips out, super smug that his little distraction totally worked. Cut to the Yangtze River, where this massive, beastly ship is waiting. Some official barks at his guys to inspect the boat. Suddenly, This bald dude rolls up and slides a thick envelope from his robes. He hands over the cash, calling it a little token of his sincerity. Money talks, right? The official tells his crew to speedrun the check and go grab breakfast. The bald guy bows, playing the polite host as they dip. But in his head, he's totally roasting these corrupt dudes for being cheap. He heads below deck and calls out, saying he ordered the whole crew to steer clear of the storage cabin. Perfect VIP privacy for their secret guest. The hidden dude promises to drop the rest of the payment upon arrival. Relieved, Baldy heads up, muttering that they just need to clear the Black Whale Fortress, pay the toll, and it's smooth sailing from there. Then he spots our MC and the young patriarch boarding his ship. A few hours later, sails up, and this massive boat finally launches. Somebody warns the MC not to flex on the pirates, or they'll suffer massive losses. Our hero is basically itching for a fight, but the kid explains the aggro would be way worse than he thinks. If they start throwing hands, every single pirate in that fortress will swarm them. Even crazier, they've got a monster-tier boss who rivals his grandpa. See Dragon King Deucegan, the literal beast of the ocean. He slams the table, terrified of a war, but you and I know, our boy loves a fight. All right, guys, stick with me here. He needs a low profile, so he just stares at his disciple in dead silence before straight up smacking his head. The kid whines that punching his way through life is seriously uncool. While our hero is totally zoned out, stressing over this sea dragon emperor dude. Right now, playing it safe is the only option. Flash forward a few hours on the open ocean. The lookout spots something super sketchy in the distance and starts screaming about a Black Whale Fortress ship. A massive rig rocking black flags rolls up, and the whole crew absolutely panics. The boats lock together, and this absolute unit of a pirate steps aboard. The bald captain sweats, greeting vice leader Goldjack like an old pal, and immediately barks at his crew to cough up the toll cash. The pirate grins, hyped that the captain already knows the drill without being told. It looks like a smooth deal, but it is super weird these guys are still hanging around. Big dude drops a bomb, the cash only covers part 1. They are hunting somebody down. He turns his scary gaze to the captain, asking point-blank if he is hiding anyone sketchy below deck. He totally knows this captain, runs a side hustle smuggling wanted fugitives. Just cough the guy up, and the rest of the passengers catch a break. The captain loves a bag, but he loves breathing more. He folds instantly, spilling that someone is chilling down in the storage hold. Big guy screams that they are busting a fugitive, forcing everybody into a lineup. The passengers are shook, literally quaking in their boots. One pirate catches our hero just vibing, staring at the ocean waves. That chill energy ticks him off, so he smacks our guy's head, yelling at him to get in line. Sung shoots his master a totally panicked, desperate look, praying he doesn't do anything crazy. But watch closely here. Guys, our hero is already hitting that pirate with a pure death stare. Right then, a massive shriek echoes out of the cargo hold, snapping everyone's attention. Even the pirates are clueless as heavy footsteps echo, and the mystery dude struts out rocking some seriously slick black robes. Big guy loses his mind over his crew getting jumped, but the long-haired dude just sighs, complaining that dodging the beggar's sect is annoying enough. He never thought they would outsource to basic pirates. That insult sets the big guy off, pulling his blade to chop this dude's head off. He throws a crazy fast attack, but completely whiffs and wrecks a wooden pillar. Our hero watches, admitting the heavy dude packs a punch, but he is low-key confused why the guy is just bouncing around. Below them, the crowd sees that busted pillar falling and absolutely freaks out over getting squashed. Bam, someone chops it totally in half before it hits. It is our hero, officially fed up with these clowns showing their true colors. After the epic save, he pulls a superhero landing. He chills and watches the sloppy brawl between big pirate and fancy clothes guy, with both of them just swinging at absolute air. But wait, through a ripped sleeve on the fancy dude, he spots something super wild, a bright red snake tattoo. That immediately triggers his master's old warning about some locked-up dude in the Murim Orthodox Alliance rocking that exact same ink. The guy's name, Hwang Dukai-san, and he holds the VIP info on that second mystical creature our hero badly needs. I know what you are thinking. Jackpot, fate is totally playing his game. Before he jumps in, Sung screams at him to chill since they promised no drama. But he interrupts, barking at his student to defend the crowd. If anyone gets hurt, it means 2 days of totally brutal training. Hearing that, the kid rips his sword out so fast, he is absolutely not suffering through that nightmare again. He watches the big boss and fancy guy collide, dropping crazy shockwaves that could seriously wreck the innocent bystanders around them. The energy blasts keep spamming and he knows he cannot tank them all, but he locks in, boosting his sword speed to the max. Zoning in, he literally fights back tears, dropping the emo logic that sadness makes his slashes way sharper. Tanking that insane storm of energy, he swings his blade. A sick golden aura flares up, deflecting all those nasty shockwaves like a boss. Using super tight, precise slashes, he perfectly guards the entire crew from the spam attack. An old dude thanks the kid, then wonders what the scary uncle is up to. Suddenly, he realizes our hero has literally vanished. The brawl pops off, and Captain Fatjack dumps all his stats into one massive swing, but Mustache Guy just sidesteps it like nothing. Spotting that huge opening, the fancy dude swoops in for a totally nasty counterattack to end this whole fight right now. But right before impact, something drops in at crazy speed. Our hero violently smacks the pirate's arm away, sending the giant sword flying. That crazy entrance stuns the whole deck. Then, pooling energy into his fist, he drops a savage punch that absolutely folds the giant. Fatjack hits the deck. Trust me, that dude is totally cooked. While the fancy dude demands his identity, our underdog totally ignores him. Instead, he drops the name Kwang Deok Siang, catching the guy totally off guard. Let's dive in. You and I are about to watch the wildest rescue ever. Guessing right, he says he's here to save him and turns to the pirate crew. He straight up tells them he's busy, so they can either scram or die right here. The 2 standing pirates just stare at him, completely clueless. Our MC frowns, asking if they didn't catch his drift. But looking back, the guy he came to save is gone. He sprints to the edge of the ship. And bro, this dude is already in the water, swimming away like a freaking dolphin. Watching him dip out, our hero is just baffled. Why make it so hard when he's literally trying to help? Before he can move, Fat Jack yells at his crew to chase him. One by one, the pirates just cannonball into the water like it's a pool party. Seeing this chubby clown still trying to grab the guy after being warned, our boy calls his sidekick and orders him to mop the floor with Fat Jack. The grounded pirate panics, clueless about who's talking. Then comes the ultimate threat. Mess this up, and it is a full week of rage-filled hell training. That makes the young patriarch scream he would rather die than let this chunker escape. His master, oh, he is super pleased. Now watch closely. Our guy dives into the sea too. The second he hits the water, he goes full shark mode. He absolutely tears through those waves chasing the fancy dude. Fat Jack wonders why he is going so hard for this random guy. But suddenly, the young patriarch drops in, casually hyping up how awesome his uncle is. Maybe he learned water skills trying to drop some pounds. The pirate asks who he is, snapping the kid out of his daydream and reminding him it's go time. He steps right up, making the pirate ask if they actually know each other. Cracking his knuckles, The patriarch says the only thing that matters right now is handing this pirate a massive beatdown. Enough talk. Following orders, he slaps a hand right onto the fat guy's head, leaving the pirate shaking in his boots. A brutal scream rings out as the hit lands hard. Meanwhile, back in the water, those pirates are still chasing Mr. Fancy. Our boy has already caught up. One pirate tries to block him with a wild attack, but our MC just swerves it like it's absolutely nothing. The bandana dude completely loses sight of him and starts panicking about where he vanished. By the time he looks up, way too late, the very last thing he sees is the bottom of our hero's shoe smashing his face in. Bouncing off the guy like a trampoline, our hero literally says, "This is actually super fun." While that dude sinks to the bottom, he looks ahead and sees a jackpot. The pirates are lined up perfectly for him. I know what you are thinking, but check this out. He literally uses their heads as a bridge. If monks used leaves, he is crossing the Yangtze on pirate skulls. A bit later, Captain Fat Jack admits they finally get it. This is the main ship of the Black Whale Fort, which basically means they are as good as dead. But he gets cut off with a brutal punch to the face. The pirate slams onto the deck. Our boy then tells his kid they've hit a major snag. The patriarch complains that he already warned him, but our MC just says to enjoy the ride. Then they charge the incoming ship. Fast forward a few hours. The sun is setting, the boat is completely trashed, and pirates are just bobbing in the water everywhere. From a distance, some scar-faced boss is watching the water and spots our hero's wrecked boat. Over there, the chubby pirate paddles forward, leaving Scarface totally confused about what this idiot is doing coming his way. Another pirate swims up, screaming for the chief. Scarface immediately asks if he brought any flares. The guy hesitates, warning that things will get crazy dangerous if the Black Whale Fort boss finds out they took this rogue job. But the leader tells him to shut up and just fire it. The Black Whale Fort's pride has totally been stomped on. A little yelling from the boss is nothing right now. Raising the flare, the pirate knows that once this goes off, that absolute monster is coming. The guy everyone is terrified of, the Water Dragon King, a total beast that even top-tier fighters steer clear of. Meanwhile, somewhere else, an old man is chilling, writing away. Suddenly, a guy bursts in screaming that a red flare popped off near the Yangtze River. The old man leaps up. Turns out, this is Jaggle Shambem, the big-brain strategist of the Murim Orthodox Alliance. The report claims the flare shot up about 2 hours ago. And now loads of pirates are begging to open the river gates. He knows only pirates use red flares, making him wonder who cornered them. He demands to know why it was fired, but the messenger is completely clueless. The commander just loses his mind with rage. So what do you and I take from this? 2 hours wasted. If someone is badass enough to solo these pirates, they absolutely need to be recruited. He orders the Celestial Alliance squadron to instantly move out and head straight for the Western Canal entrance to shut down this protest. Because no way can they let pirates steal Awan Canal. All right, stick with me here. We are on the route to the Murim Orthodox Alliance. Turns out that flare popped off near Anhui Province. That completely shocks him. Why? Because the Black Whale Fortress is right there. He instantly demands to know the Water Dragon King's exact location. The latest reports say the guy is hanging out somewhere near Jaggle Prefecture. Since that spot is super close to the flare, he definitely noticed the signal already. Hearing this, the elder panics and asks where their highest-ranking member, the little beggar dragon who showed up for the entrance test, went. Cut to somewhere else late at night. Some dude is super grumpy about being bothered. He already knows about the red flare but complains about being woken up. This guy, the little beggar dragon of the beggar sect, he immediately tries shaking his sleeping buddy awake. His friend just grunts and completely swats him away. The dragon complains that this hairy dude smells like straight booze and needs to chill on the drinking. Super annoyed that his buddy is still dead to the world, he starts yelling. The pretty boy finally opens his eyes, cursing up a storm, demanding to know why he was dragged out of bed at this hour. The beggar dragon explains his elder uncle summoned him away, and the hairy guy has to bounce to a different spot tomorrow morning. The drunk guy just asks what that has to do with him. This totally annoys the beggar dragon since they will be splitting up. But his buddy literally tells him to get lost. Still dizzy from drinking, he passes out snoring again, leaving the beggar dragon thinking his taste in friends is absolute garbage. Whatever, no time to dwell on that right now. He unties the rope from his waist. He tosses the rope to a messenger, telling him to gather the beggars by the well and go scour those northern waters right away. Soon as the messenger dips, the hairy guy stays down for a hot second. Then mutters he is sober enough to get up. He guesses the water dragon king is involved, proving he actually cares and doesn't want the beggar knight getting totally wrecked. Meanwhile, out on the river, some mysterious dude in white is riding a tiny boat. Back to the crazy fight our main character left behind. The whole crew is huddled up on the cargo ship, sweating bullets. Meanwhile, the young patriarch absolutely wrecks the last few attacking pirates. He drops one more pirate and checks on his uncle. The uncle is literally pummeling a pirate's face with heavy punches, knocking the guy completely out cold. Suddenly, a loud noise makes him realize things are totally spiraling out of control. No matter how many dudes he drops, more pirates swarm them. He screams at Fat Jack to keep moving. They cannot stay here. The pirate pinned under him agrees fast. He asks the whale if there is anywhere to anchor nearby and gets a super reluctant yes. But suddenly, someone literally goes flying right over the main character's boat. Now watch closely, this gets wild. He looks up to see some dude dropping from the sky thinking, what the heck is that? The guy crashes onto the deck like a freaking meteor, screaming at the top of his lungs about the Yangtze River route. He hypes himself up as the little beggar dragon. He warns them the new Rim Alliance protects everyone here, so they better back off now. Watching him flex on everyone, the main character is wondering who this random guy is. Boom, a memory of his master hits him. He realizes this guy is his master, just way younger. Suddenly, a loud shout orders all the boats to halt. The main character is totally shook, wondering if that drunk actually pulled this off. Someone orders all Yangtze disciples to salute the chief commander. Instantly, a massive, deafening roar of respect erupts from every single boat. I know what you're thinking, who is it? The main character looks over to see a white-haired man approaching on a boat carried by a giant servant. Everyone is completely stunned. That absolute legend is the Water Dragon King. The main character panics, realizing they are way too close. He screams at Fat Jack to turn immediately because they might actually crash into this huge unorthodox sect boss. The entire crew puts their backs into turning the ship. But the gap is insanely tight. It totally looks like a massive crash is happening. The main character braces for impact, but the king stays ice cold. He just reaches out one hand, unleashes a crazy blast, and shoves their whole boat out of the way. When both of these monsters finally land on the main character's ship, he realizes the boat was literally stopped by pure raw power, wondering how insanely strong this guy is. The Water Dragon King drops his name, sweeping the crew with a freezing glare. Little beggar dragon immediately bows to the river boss, and the young patriarch follows suit. He pays his respects too. But then the king's giant servant suddenly moves, and the main character instantly senses massive danger. In the blink of an eye, the giant lifts someone by the collar, but the king is shocked because a kid under 20 actually tracked his servant moving at max energy enhancement. That is wild. And that's where we leave it. The dude is just gasping for air. Let us jump right into this wild standoff. Our MC steps up, asking why a big shot is bullying kids. Like, bro, that is bad for your brand. The old guy actually gets it. He admits he cannot let his rep tank. He calls his goon off, who drops the beggar like a sack of potatoes. Then bam! The elder flexes his insane aura, demanding our boy explain himself right now. That leaves our hero sweating bullets. Just a bit more time, and they would have hit the Orthodox Alliance, who invited an absolute monster to this party. Pissing this guy off means an early grave, so he plays it cool. Just a regular guy on a cruise until pirates started threatening innocent folks. The old dude sneers, "Oh, so you played knight in shining armor." But that heavy aura keeps spiking. Our guy knows the elder is not buying his story at all. Brain in overdrive. Lightbulb moment. He drops his clan name, acting smug, saying the old man probably would not know it outside the Murim world, because they are heavy hitters with massive pull in the government. His dad was a top imperial advisor, still chilling in Nanjing, literally babysitting the emperor's grandsons. Why the mega flex? His master taught him the golden rule of trash talk. Flaunt your powerful connections to win, and if you have zero, lie your face off. But plot twist, the elder literally could not care less about his daddy. Now pay close attention because things just got real. The Water Dragon King says he was born a pirate and will die one. Murim, government, he does not care. That crazy answer sets our hero on edge. He still has to protect Mengong Song, his master, and that tied-up rich kid. But seriously, what can he do? Two untouchable monsters plus a super sketchy bodyguard. Suddenly, another lesson from the celestial advisor pops into mind. 2 negotiation rules. Shake them up with what they fear or win them over with what they love. Hustling to stay alive, he tells the man to chill and listen. Dropping his identity, totally not a threat, he swears. What he really wants is a little mercy. Just turn a blind eye to those sunken ships. To sweeten the deal, he offers straight-up cash. Pirates love money, right? The elder looks hooked. You offering coin? Our boy doubles down, asking his price. But that just makes the old man grin and absolutely lose his mind laughing. Our MC is staring like, did this dude just crack? He looks way too hyped. The elder steps right up. I like you, kid. The hero jumps back, totally freaked out. The old man points. Look at the moon. Look at those guys watching from above. Those sword guys, Orthodox Murim Alliance. Why are they just standing there? Our MC is confused because the answer feels pretty obvious. The elder drops some facts. They can preach about justice and chivalry all day long. You see where this is going, right? Even the good guys only care about profit. So why is our boy emptying his wallet to save everyone? He freezes. No way this cynical pirate believes his real goal is stopping chaos and literally saving the entire world. The old man stares him down hard. He is totally reading his vibe, even if he cannot guess his true max power yet. Still, you do not mess recklessly with a guy who has nothing to lose. Only one option left, time for a live test. He says some problems cannot be solved with cash. Instantly, his bodyguard draws a weapon, making little beggar dragon jump out of his skin. Our boy dashes in, screaming that this old geezer is completely insane. Too slow, the attack is already flying. And wait, it is aimed straight at little beggar dragon. Bam, he tanks the hit himself. The beggar freezes up while our hero screams at him to run. The kid does not hesitate. He leaps off the ship, leaving our guy totally solo. A brutal hit slams into his chest. He stays standing purely on adrenaline, knowing he has to finish this in one single strike. His opponent is a martial master dripping with energy. If this drags out, total game over. So he pours everything into one massive attack, using his absolute purest energy. Spiritual energy completely outclasses normal internal power, but seeing it, the pirate just smiles. Our guy is super confused, until bam, the old man sneak attacks him from behind. He crashes hard, fighting to stay awake. But nope, he blacks out, completely crushed between these two absolute monsters. Fading out, he cannot believe an unorthodox legend fights so dirty. He calls him a scumbag, while the elder just smiles. His vision fades. The patriarch screams for his uncle, but the pirate king warns him off. Trust me, you and I must see what happens next. Sung feels insane pressure just from making eye contact. Stick with me here. His uncle just risked everything. He refuses to freeze up in total fear, so you and I get to see him raise that sword. The old man is honestly hyped seeing the kid push forward so bravely. He instantly spots that enhanced sword energy glowing on his blade. It is super weak, sure, but it is totally legit. Now the old dude is completely baffled by these guys. One actually fought back, and the other literally shattered his energy trap. But he can easily tell the kid is struggling. That demonic energy is totally messing with his head right now. The old guy chuckles, asking if he is related to Chang's son. But the young patriarch completely blanks him and just rushes in for the attack. Right as he gears up to kick, the old dude admits he cannot kill him before seeing him grow up. And boom, that kick misses on purpose and completely wrecks the deck. The blast is so massive it sends crazy waves crashing all around the ship. Cut to later in the woods. Our boy smells some seriously good food and finally wakes up from his nap. He spots a giant bowl of meat while the bodyguard just stares at him. Super confused, he waits until someone finally tells him to eat up. Yong-san hunted it himself. Suddenly, it clicks, he is chilling with pirates and a dragon king. The old dude jokes that a growing kid needs meat and booze, but our hero only cares about Sung and his master right now. He gets furious, demanding to know what happened to everyone else. Before he throws hands, the old man casually mentions he spared them and sent them to the Murim alliance. Now pay attention closely here. He adds the Namgung clan kid is barely hurt, because even if he hates Chang's son, he refuses to crush a young sprout. Hearing that, our hero lets out a massive sigh of relief, but then his stomach violently growls. The old man smirks, saying he literally just warned him. He grabs the meat, wonders if it is poisoned, then says whatever because it tastes absolutely amazing. That is exactly when he catches the old dude intensely staring. He tells him to eat up with this super sketchy grin. Then we cut straight to a medical room where someone sighs, saying this is the last one. Tiny acupuncture needles are carefully pushed into a guy's body. Once finished, the old doctor chills while the kid looks like a human pincushion. He mentions the water dragon king was weirdly nice, totally confusing the little beggar. The old man roasts him, saying even as a beggar rep he is clueless. Without the water dragon stepping up, the kid would have been totally permanently crippled. The doc explains he did not just block the demonic energy, he fully opened his meridians. The beggar cannot figure out why he did that. But the old guy dips to send a letter, needing to cool down the Sword King's crazy anger now that word is out. I know what you are thinking. The beggar flashes back to when the young patriarch fearlessly charged that absolute monster. The exact second he charged up that kick, he totally obliterated the deck before the young patriarch even got close. For a split second, his crazy eyes actually looked totally normal again. Then, with pure ice in his voice, he ordered everyone out. He meant the Murim Alliance squad, who just stood there watching him and his right-hand man drag our hero onto the ship. The only person left behind was the beggar desperately trying to help. Back in the present, he keeps racking his brain over why Mr. Yu was kidnapped. Meanwhile, out in the woods, Those three pirates are chilling by the fire, and the bodyguard tosses our hero more food. Staring at his super calm face, our guy cannot process this is the same beast who fought like an absolute demon earlier. And get this. The other guy was literally a walking nightmare before, but right now he just looks like your average drunk uncle. It completely blows his mind how someone's vibe can change that fast. Then the old dude passes him a drink and asks his age. Yu takes a sip and drops that he is 17. The old man is shook. Being this overpowered before 20 is insane. He immediately asks who trained him, making our boy instantly go on the defensive. But the old guy keeps pressing for answers. So the protagonist totally bluffs, saying he learned from his brother-in-law in Hubei. The Water Dragon King calls his bluff. That is a military zone, and he knows their moves perfectly. They are simple and super raw. Completely different from our hero's insanely smooth technique, and that super weird power he used earlier. It honestly did not feel like normal martial arts. It felt way more pure. Our hero is shocked he caught what the Sword King missed. He demands to know why this guy cares so much. The old dude just laughs it off. He has literally never seen energy that unique before. Plus, if his only teacher is family, he has no actual master in Murim yet. That makes his day. Trust me, you and I know he is keeping those saints a secret. Alright guys, let's jump right in. The Water Dragon King points right at him and demands he become his disciple. Total shocker. The crazy old dude says he originally planned to wreck him for causing trouble, but he will let it slide for a student. Yu is panicking hard. Bro is supposed to be the legendary hero, saving all of Murim. Joining a pirate crew makes literally 0 sense. The old-timer acts like it is a done deal, but our MC quickly asks for a timeout. That just pisses the Water Dragon King off even more. What gives? Our guy frantically explains that his dad is a famous scholar and former imperial advisor. Basically, he cannot be a pirate lackey. He keeps spitting out excuses while the old man just stares at him in dead silence. Then the boomer drops a bomb, asking if a brutal beatdown would magically help him change his mind. An absolutely insane aura crashes down, freezing our MC in pure terror. The old man claims being a pirate takes raw talent, basically saying this kid was born for it. Totally shook, our hero is totally trapped right now. Now watch this closely, guys. The old man rolls up his sleeves, declaring the boy is overthinking and those thoughts need to be beaten out. Cue the absolute smackdown echoing everywhere. Fast forward a few hours. The campfire is totally dead, and our heavily bruised MC is kneeling down. The old dude asks for his final answer, and he still begs for more time. But the second a fist gets raised, he instantly blurts out he will join him. Deep down, he realizes he has to do whatever it takes to survive. He literally cannot afford to waste time. So he begs for a temporary deal. He still needs to find Hwang Doxium and reach the Orthodox Murim Alliance ASAP. He desperately needs intel on that second beast, and Hwang Doxium holds the keys. To pull this off, he has to speedrun his way to the Alliance. Even sporting a nasty black eye, he locks in and pushes forward. He hits his new boss with a condition: nobody can know about this apprenticeship. If word gets out, he will be totally stuck like a big fish in a tiny pond. He claims he wants to learn everything, turning that river into an ocean, taking on the whole world. That answer actually low-key impresses the old pirate. Still, the pirate drops a crazy threat. If the kid is capping, he will straight up erase his existence. Next, he calls over his hype man, ordering him to announce to the crew that Yu Han is the river's brand new young master. But it is top secret. Giving a deadly glare, he warns that any leaks will result in some serious, severe punishment. Fast forward, our MC dips out in a tiny boat. waving goodbye with a super awkward, relieved laugh. Crying on the inside, he copes by pretending this humiliation was all part of his master plan. Boom! The river pirates are basically his pawns. Once he secures the epic loot and the mystical creature, he is dipping for good. Meanwhile, the water dragon king is chilling on a rock, drinking. He enjoys the quiet for a split second, but you and I both know peace never lasts here. Someone starts screaming insults at him. It is Chang's son, absolutely raging as he crashes the party. He heard the pirate king left his son beaten up and out cold. The old man is super confused. Then it clicks. Chang's son means the kid from the ship. The pirate shrugs, saying he just found that out recently. The old guy adds, he also heard the pirate magically opened up his son's meridians. This genuinely shocks the water dragon king, but then he gets mad. Why is Chang's son throwing hands instead of saying thank you? Chang's son demands he hand over the MC right now. He swears he will turn the river into a bloodbath if his kid got even slightly hurt. This whole flex makes the pirate assume Chang's son has to be the boy's master. Like, they definitely give off that heavy master-student energy. But wait. The super weird reaction proves to the pirate that Chang's son is definitely not the kid's real master. Since the boy is his student now, he is literally refusing to give him back. Those fighting words completely enrage the patriarch. He starts charging up his crazy power. He blitzes in and swings for the kill, but only snags some fabric. The water dragon king snaps back, roasting him for being a trash swordsman. He dodges back onto some floating wood, admitting that epic strike absolutely would have one-shotted him if it had actually connected. Then he starts yelling, asking if the crazy old man was seriously trying to murder him. The patriarch claps back that this is not a game. He promises to slice off that ugly head of his and send it packing. Hearing that mega disrespect, the pirate king goes full rage mode. He flares his aura, demanding a massive one-on-one showdown right there. Right as these two monsters are about to absolutely wreck each other, the pirate's servant randomly strolls up carrying a massive wild boar. He stops dead in his tracks, super confused. The servant yells out, asking what the heck they are doing and tells them to chill. He explains Hyun already dipped hours ago and is probably safe at his destination. The pirate hops back onto dry land, backing up his story. The patriarch knows this pirate actually does not lie about stuff like this. He finally powers down his sword and actually says thank you. The old dude just grumbles that he could have mentioned that way earlier. Then, the pirate waves his subordinate over. He tosses a bottle of liquor. Catching it smoothly, he offers a peace drink. And trust me guys, you're going to want to see what happens next. Stick with me on this one. The old dude chills out, thinking Hyun is perfectly safe. But bro is literally surrounded. 2 swords in his face, a whole fleet backing them up, and a massive crowd trapping him. Hyun plays it cool, claiming it is just a big mix-up. Their response: only the Murim alliance can officially clear his name. Hyun is totally down for that. He needed a ride there anyway. He plays along and boom, the giant river gates swing open. They haul him into the city by carriage, and our boy leans out to check the vibes. The place is massive, packed tight like a concrete jungle. He literally cannot hide his hyped reaction. The guard next to him is super confused. He heard this kid soloed mountain bandits and wrecked pirates. Yet right now, he just looks like an innocent, wide-eyed teenager sightseeing. Meanwhile, Hyun is plotting some big-brain moves. If he stops the upcoming chaos, he becomes a hero, snags the Yu clan, and bosses up the orthodox Murim alliance. Basically, the most epic early retirement plan ever. First up, though, he needs to track down that fancy-dressed guy. They hit the Alliance Palace and pull up to the military advisor's office. Watch closely now, when they reach the advisor's floor and swing that door open. The escort loses his mind. He drops straight to his knees, screaming his rank as vice captain, and bows down to the literal alliance leader. Standing right behind the advisor is a dude in white who greets Hyun first. Hyun, being an absolute boss, stays totally chill. The bearded elder checks if he is Yu Hyun. Turns out this is Lee Hak-sung, the legendary white marshal. His gentle voice alone packs insane, crushing pressure. It is not even killing intent, bro. Just raw, top-tier aura that makes normal people freeze up completely. He remembers his master hyping this guy up. If he fought on the front lines, they actually could have stopped the minion of chaos. Hearing his proper intro, the old man is shook. Hein is only 17 years old but is already rocking god-tier skills. Those blazing eyes give off Major Dragon vibes. The elder is totally convinced Hein chilled with the Water Dragon King. Staring them down, Hein knows he is facing his master's master and the top dog alliance leader. Even his teachers respected these guys. He is straight up in the tiger's den, so he locks in. The advisor asks if he started that Yangtze River drama. Hein casually flexes that his dad is the imperial advisor, so he had to stomp those pirates. It sounds super believable, like he is just a crazy justice warrior. But the old dude is suspicious about the middle-aged guy with him. Hein acts clueless, dodging the heat. The advisor spells it out. He means the fancy-dressed guy throwing hands with a pirate before Hein jumped in. Hein clicks that they mean Hwang Di-sang. He knows they grilled him already, but the guy definitely kept Hein's real motive secret. So our boy just needs a solid, foolproof excuse for joining that brawl. You and I saw that coming, right? Someone suddenly moves to strike the woman, and the sect leader instantly jumps in to block. He grabs Hein at the same time. The attacker yells, "What are you doing?" Like an absolute gigachad, he says that was his answer. Hein's body moved on its own to protect someone. The old man loves it, and Hein knows his acting is Oscar-worthy. He casually asks what happened to the guy, but the advisor instantly pushes back. Like, why care so much about a random stranger, especially after beating him up earlier? Hein slams his fist on the table, faking absolute rage because that dude almost got innocent people killed. It is totally an act, and they are eating it up. The old man says the guy is in prison being interrogated, then invites Hein to visit him. Hein's radar goes off. Trap alert, that was way too easy, bro. They definitely want to spy on his reaction during the interrogation to figure out his real agenda. Still hiding a sneaky smile, he takes the bait. He desperately needs to find out where that millennial sea snail is anyway. So he agrees to meet him, acting super salty that the guy selfishly endangered everyone else to save his own skin. The elder stares him down, low-key skeptical. He says he will ping the head guard, wondering how long this kid can keep faking it. As Hein turns to leave, the guy asks why the Water Dragon King let him walk away. Hein drops the wildest excuse. He claims the pirate paid for the sunk ships and the hospital bills for the wounded. The old man is like, "Do we look stupid to you? By all anime logic, that pirate should have murdered you." Hoyen just smirks, telling them to go ask the pirate. He promised cash, so he got released. Simple math, guys. The elder looks absolutely tilted by this brat. But they can't hold him forever, because his crazy, overprotective dad would 100% start a massive war over this. That is where we leave it. Hoyen walks free. "All right, come along with me." The messenger asks the boss if Hoyen's wild story is legit. The verdict, absolutely zero, but the kid, pure fascination. Staring out the window, the boss drops a bombshell. Hoyen's energy core, completely empty. The messenger totally thinks Hoyen is just hiding his stats. But nope, the boss confirms there is literally zero energy inside. He figured it out during their clash. It means our boy is using a completely brand new, off-the-charts cultivation method. Legends like the Sword King and Water Dragon King don't just hang out with nobodies. The boss says they absolutely need Hoyan on their team for their giant master plan. Right on cue, the advisor rolls out this fancy red scroll. He wants to build an all-star squad of hidden dragons from across the map. The only problem, it's been a total drag. Now watch closely, here's the catch. These prodigies are top-tier clan VIPs and future leaders. Getting them to join up, basically impossible. The old guy brings up young Sung, who got a massive physical glow-up all thanks to the Water Dragon King. So he pitches Yu Hyan as their poster boy, a total beast who soloed the Black Whale Fortress and actually walked away breathing. Great family background, super good-looking. The guy is basically your picture-perfect martial arts prodigy. They could even hype up his buddy Nam Dune, spreading rumors that he hit some insanely high cultivation tier, too. But hey, it's just a pitch. The advisor has the final say. Meanwhile, Hoyan dips out of the elder meeting to go snoop around. He spots someone looking super pathetic and just shakes his head. Yep, it's Sung, wrapped up like a total mummy, crying for his uncle. Out of nowhere, the beggar kid pops up. He asks if Hoyan is joining the Hidden Dragon squad. Hoyan spots Mr. Yu acting super respectful all of a sudden. Literal light bulb moment. This is the absolute perfect chance to make the guy his minion. But how do you pull that off? He can't just start throwing punches, especially not against his former legendary masters. Suddenly, the beggar mentions a secret list. Big names like Sedak and Murim are totally on it. I know what you're thinking. Hoyan instantly snatches the paper while the kid freaks out about squad secrecy. The guy literally does not care. But get this, when Hoyan checks it, every single one of his masters is on the roster, like Chan Sung of the Tang clan, the crazy snakebite trainer. Then there's Hoyan Hyel of Wuding, balancing a heavy jar on his sword without spilling even a single drop. Hoyan Gang of Shaolin chilling under a massive waterfall, plus Jigglemori, the celestial strategist, admiring a scary beautiful sky today. Staring at those names, Hoyan gets a wild idea. He wants to gather his old masters and literally become their boss. He is beyond hyped for this epic reunion. Meanwhile, the beggar kid is just standing there shivering from Hoyan's insane, creepy vibe. It becomes super obvious right away. Hoyan is crashing the Hidden Dragon party. You and I just watched pure hype. Drop a like, subscribe for more epic recaps, and I'll catch you next time.